So, welcome back to Hogwarts Expert. Today, I'm finally talking about the Wizarding World of Harry Potter theme park at Universal Studios Orlando. This park is a childhood dream come true for Harry Potter fans, with two lands, one in Universal Islands of Adventure and one in Universal Studios Florida. And the most exciting bit is you can take the Hogwarts Express from the London side in Universal Studios Florida all the way to Islands of Adventure, where Hogwarts Castle is. The park is just filled with exciting rides, shops and restaurants, and they all just transport you to the world of Harry Potter. But what was my personal experience like? Well, in November 2023, I took a flight with my girlfriend's family from Manchester, England to Orlando, Florida, which was a bit of a crazy experience for me because the longest flight I've ever been on was 4 hours long, and this was about 10 hours. And it was actually the biggest plane I've ever been on. The biggest planes I've been on before were like 6-seater rows, whereas obviously this had, I think, 3 seats on either side and then 5 in the middle. We then got to Orlando, and for the first few days of the holiday, we just went to the Disney parks. So we explored each one of, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom. But as the Hogwarts expert, obviously what I was most excited about was visiting Universal Studios. And by the weekend of the first week we were there, we finally visited Universal Studios. I was very, very excited. And I was in a bit of a weird mood. I think I was so excited that I put all this pressure on myself to just have a really good day. You know, some days you just kind of feel like, oh, this is going to be such an amazing experience. I need to make sure I'm living in the moment. I need to make sure I'm enjoying this. I think I was overexcited. But then that all kind of changed once I started to walk into Diagon Alley for the first time. I mean, that experience was just incredible. You know, the detail they put in, it looks absolutely perfect. It so closely resembles it, but it obviously has been expanded into a more livable kind of breathing area. And obviously there's working shops and there's Gringotts Bank and all the ride there. You know, you can enter all these buildings and have experiences, and it's just amazing. So you've got like the Weasley's joke shop, that was incredibly well done. The Ollivander's Wand experience. So the Ollivander's Wand experience, they bring you in as a group, and then they choose one person in the group who does all the kind of like moments that Harry has, where, you know, you test the wand and things go wrong and things explode. And for us it was a little bit awkward because they chose someone who was very quiet. It was a sort of moody teenager that got chosen, and I don't think she really got into the spirit of it. You know, like when things start happening in the room, she just didn't really react. It's a bit of a shame, you know. I think if you picked a younger kid, they might have been a bit more amazed by what they were seeing. The person we got just was so like bored by it, like so like passive about the whole thing. But the experience for me was still cool. And something I have to reveal is I bought my own wand of Ollivanders, which we will be looking at in the merch section of this later on. So Diagon Alley was just amazing to explore. You know, we spent a lot of time in there just walking around the different shops and just making sure we saw every inch of it. We then came back on a different day to do the rest of the park. So on day 2 of our experience at Universal Studios, we first went to King's Cross, and then we boarded the Hogwarts Express. I felt like such a kid in a candy shop on that day. You know, I was just so excited, like walking around the corner and seeing the Hogwarts Express there, ready for you to board. We took loads of pictures there. Interestingly, there's something people have spoken about where Harry, Ron and Hermione appear on the train through the window next to you. People have said that the voice of Hermione is a little bit off, and I can see what they mean.
5 principal exceptions to Gamp's law of elemental transfiguration.
Do you know what she's talking about?
Hermione sounds weird.
The voices are a bit off. I think Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint probably both recorded for it. Or at least, if it's not Daniel Radcliffe, it's someone who does sound very like him. But yeah, Emma Watson's equivalent, not the best. But it just sticks out because there's so many of the original actors have filmed things for the theme park, like exclusively for the theme park. Rupert Grint has definitely recorded lines for it, and Daniel Radcliffe has as well. And I'm getting the impression that Emma Watson has not filmed anything. So I think they've had to try and like work around her and get impressionists to play her. But like I say, in that instance, yeah, it didn't sound perfect, her voice, which is a shame. And then of course, the Hogwarts Express brings you right to Hogsmeade station. And then you can walk up Hogsmeade and explore from there. And yet again, that was just incredible. And I love the fact that as you walk through Hogsmeade, you can see this massive diorama of Hogwarts Castle in front of you. And it's built in such a way that through forced perspective, it kind of looks bigger than it is. And it obviously is so well realised. And just the feeling of walking up and seeing it in the distance just feels incredible. And it's something that, as someone who's into Harry Potter, I've seen this on videos and photos before. But to finally be there in person and see it myself was just incredible. I think I actually annoyed my girlfriend by asking her to take photos of me so much. And I kept saying, oh, it's not quite right, can we take it again? I was being really quite annoying, I think. But I was just giddy to be in that environment and see it. You know, just seeing everything whilst you're there is amazing, but then there's so much more you can do. You know, you can go and have a meal in the Three Broomsticks, which we did, and the Leaky Cauldron, we went and had a breakfast. And the breakfast at the Leaky Cauldron, I can definitely recommend that. It was very, very good. Part of the idea of the food is that it's meant to be British food. And the Leaky Cauldron in particular, the breakfast there was very well done, because they even had black pudding, which, if you're American, I don't think you'll even know what that is. I think it's technically a Scottish thing. It's one of those things where if you knew what it was, you wouldn't want to eat it. But I actually quite like it. I think it's basically made of blood, which is very strange, but I'm a fan. And I couldn't believe it, seeing black pudding in an American restaurant. You know, so they did a good job on that. And I really enjoyed the breakfast we had there. And then, of course, you can get butterbeer and pumpkin juice, which I had. The pumpkin juice is very tasty.
What drink have you got then?
Pumpkin juice.
Have a try.
Just tastes a little cidery. Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Recommend?
It's nice with that. Kind of tastes a bit like an apple cider without the alcohol. And the hot butterbeer, that's very nice. Is a bit like a sort of hot chocolate, but with kind of like a slightly, I don't know what you'd call it, orangey taste or something. But I was a big fan of that. And then, of course, just going around all the shops, you know, Honeydukes, Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, Ollivanders. It's just crazy. And I just loved all of it, obviously. It's just, you know, such a big fan. But one thing I do want to talk about more is the rides. And I thought it'd be interesting to rank them. So I ranked them in order of what I thought was the best experience. So across the two lands, there are 4 rides in total. And they are Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, Escape from Gringotts, Flight of the Hippogriff, and Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorcycle Adventure. So in 4th and 3rd place, I'm actually going to tie Forbidden Journey and Escape from Gringotts. And that's because both of these rides were a very similar experience for me. Now, this goes with the caveat of I enjoyed all of these rides. You know, as a Harry Potter fan, all of them had something that was exciting about them. But these 2 rides in particular, I would say, are less memorable and not quite as thrilling. And part of the problem is, I believe they're a type of ride system called a dark ride. And they utilise something called a scoop system, which Universal Studios had a lot of rides that used these systems. These rides in particular, they kind of like sit you down in like a carriage, and then they kind of move you around a little bit and kind of like point you up at a screen and kind of go like, oh, look at this thing happening on the screen. And then you get like some water sprayed at you, and then like it's like, oh, and then you move on to the next place. And it's kind of like a rinse and repeat where you just keep getting moved up to these screens. Something happens, you jiggle around a bit, and then you go back, and then you go on to the next screen.
Wow, this is beautiful. Oh, there's the dragon.
Universal have so many rides like this that I was starting to get a bit bored of it. Because there's also the Spider-Man ride, which is very similar to this. And there was the Transformers ride. I think there's even a couple of other ones which are a bit similar. But what I will say is the queues for these rides are actually almost better than the rides themselves. The Gringotts queue is just incredible. You know, you walk through the lobby of the bank. I mean, start going down all the corridors underneath the bank, and just everything is designed so that it's in-world, and it, you know, the theming is just great. And then for Forbidden Journey, you're walking through Hogwarts, so you see some of the classrooms, and you walk into Dumbledore's office and things like this. So that was also very fun to do. Just the actual ride experience, though, isn't very memorable, which is why I'm putting these at 4th and 3rd. Now, in 2nd place, I've got Flights of the Hippogriff. This is a much more thrilling ride. But the only problem with it is quite short and sweet. There is a really nice moment, though, where you are going up the kind of incline to begin with, and you've got Hogwarts Castle to the right of you, and you get a great view of the castle. So that was pretty magical. But the rest of the ride is fun, and you get shipped around at quite a high speed. But it just doesn't last very long. It's only like a couple of minutes long, I think. But I really enjoyed that ride, and I would definitely go on that again. But in 1st place is the Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorcycle Adventure. Now, this isn't just my favourite Harry Potter rides, it's possibly my favourite ride of the entire trip. So out of the Universal parks, all the Disney parks, this might just be my favourite ride I went on whilst I was there. It's such an amazing combination of storytelling, of extra scenes you've never seen with characters you know, and a really thrilling ride. And there's some incredible moments on it. There's one bit where you get stuck in Devil's Snare.
Oh, crikey, you're tangled in Devil's Snare. Repeat, Lumos Solem after me. Lumos Solem.
And then you just drop.
Woo, that was close. Now we just need to... Oh, you found my missing screws. Best be getting you out of here before you get blasted. Now, hit those...
Because this is like a roller coaster that's outside. So you don't expect there to be like just a solid drop like that. You know, obviously normally roller coasters you kind of go up and down, you're swimming from side to side, but you don't expect to just kind of do a free fall drop. So that bit was amazing, like just such a surprise. And you can go on it as a 2, you see. So one person is on the motorcycle and you're leaning down, and then the other person's in the sidecar. So me and my girlfriend Hannah went on it, and I can't remember how it was decided, but I got on the motorbike. I think she was a bit nervous. I was also nervous, but I think she was a little bit more nervous. I don't think she'd mind me saying that. So she got the sidecar, which I reckon is a much less scary experience. Although I think she disagreed with that. But I mean, yeah, so you're leaning down, you're going super fast, you're swerving around corners. Robbie Coltrane has also recorded some new lines for this and new scenes. It kind of adds something a little bit extra now, obviously, that he's passed away. You know, it makes it a little bit more kind of nostalgic and like bittersweet hearing his voice whilst you're on the ride. I'm really glad with this ride that I didn't look at any footage beforehand, because I just didn't know what to expect, and there's so many twists and turns of it that you're not expecting. So that really adds to the experience, not knowing what's going to happen next. And yeah, that ride was really exhilarating and just fun. What's not fun about it is that we did wait like 90 minutes, I think, in the queue. But, I mean, it was worth it. Yeah. Now, as a Hogwarts expert, some people might be wondering what my overall opinion of the castle is there, which could be quite interesting. So first off, the viaducts, which is something I've spoken about so many times on this channel. But the viaduct is in the wrong place. It's too low down. It's connecting 2 parts of the cliff together. So it's not even 2 parts of the castle, it's 2 parts of the cliff. Why would you have a bridge that goes from one bit of rock to another bit of rock? I believe they've probably done this for forced perspective to try and make things feel bigger. So they brought the viaduct downwards to like try and make it feel like the castle itself was bigger. But it's a shame because it's not right. So you need to get on that Universal Studios. Your viaduct is wrong. The rest of the castle is pretty accurate, although you're missing some towers because you're only seeing some of the front towers. Like again, that might be a forced perspective thing to try and make it look bigger. So you're only seeing like the astronomy tower, for example. You're not seeing some of like the bell towers in the distance. Also, there's a section of the castle at the back where it just suddenly becomes like a straight line of wall, which is definitely wrong. Now, this might be partly because you're not seeing a complete 3D Hogwarts castle. You know, you're not seeing the back ends of the castle. You're only seeing the front side of it, the kind of facade of the front. But also, I think this wall has been designed this way to try and disguise the fact that there's a big square building behind it where the ride has to be. But it's just a shame that they couldn't have had like the bell towers on the end of this, or designed it slightly differently so that it wouldn't look quite as like ugly and square as this. But there you go. That's also wrong. I mean, the rest of it does look pretty accurate. The only thing I would say is the colour of the castle is quite a dark, kind of grey brown. I think I would have made that bit lighter. I don't know why they made it that dark. It looks quite sort of grungy. But I think if you're trying to create like a magical like Harry Potter world for people to explore, I would have like made it look a little bit more like the early castle. So a little bit brighter colours, just to make it a bit more like exciting for kids. It just looks a bit too like gothic and grungy. So I also just wanted to talk about some of the merchandise that I bought whilst I was there. Because I kind of told myself, don't just hold back, like just buy whatever you want. Because I might only be there once. So I just thought, let's just go crazy. And one thing I did want was a new wand from Ollivanders. Because I have actually, I bought wands in the past. I've got Voldemort's wand, which I still, to this day, I don't know why I bought that. That was the first one that I ever bought for Harry Potter. And I'm not sure what made me choose it. Maybe I was just feeling particularly evil at the time. So after kind of regretting buying Voldemort's wand, I then bought Neville's wand because I wanted a wand that kind of felt like I might plausibly have it if I was a Hogwarts student. So I got Neville's, which is kind of just a basic like, but it's nice, and I've always been happy with that. So even though I already owned this Neville's wand, once I saw the boxes at Ollivanders, I was like, oh, that's much nicer. Like, look at that in comparison. This wand was from the Warner Brothers Studio Tour in London and just has quite a basic, like, black box. But, like, look at that, especially in comparison. Look at how much more details on this Ollivanders wand box. And you get them in, like, a nice little Ollivanders wand bag as well. So once I saw this, I just thought I have to get it because, like, I just loved the box so much. Like, it just looked so detailed. So let's open and have a look. Sure. So firstly, you get a map of the theme park, but it's done in a kind of like Marauders map style, which is very nice. It's a map of Diagon Alley and then also a map of the Hogsmeade and Hogwarts section of the parks. So that was a very nice little addition. And then you get your wand there. There are many different ones you can choose from. They've also got replicas of all the character wands. But these ones, they're exclusive to the theme parks. And that was the one I got, which I was very happy with. Now, the other nice thing about these ones is that they are interactive, and there's parts of the park where they have these little moments where you can like move your wand around and something happens. I tried to do it like once or twice, but it didn't really work very well. And I don't know if I was just doing wrong. Like, I think I might be the problem here. Like, I couldn't work out quite what you're meant to do. But I mean, kids were doing it, so I think I was just being stupid. Yeah, that's a nice feature of the wands, where you get like a little interactive bit at the end which tracks the wand. So yeah, that's the wand I got. I was very excited to get that. And just the experience of like buying it from Ollivanders as well is fun. And I just love like now I've just got that as like souvenir because like look how beautiful that box is, and the wand itself obviously is lovely. Another thing I got whilst I was there was a mug. I always have a tradition of buying a mug from any place I go to, like, you know, even if I go to like a country in Europe, I always buy a mug. And this is the mug I got. I got sort of mine. And yeah, I just like the colours. It's nice size. Yeah, it's quirky and I like it. And my girlfriend bought me a coaster to go alongside it. So there's a nice little stepler. I also got a Night Bus t-shirt, which looks like this. It's got a little bit on the back. What can I say about this? Nice t-shirt, basically. Yeah, it fits well. Nice fabric. And then the last thing I got was a chocolate frog, but this is a special, like, extra expensive chocolate frog, which was like $30. This $30. I don't know why I spent that much money on it. You get a chocolate frog inside it, of course, but also it's a nice like tin rather than paper. I've had a paper one in the past, which looks like that, Whereas this is a tin one, so it's a little bit different. And it came with a chocolate frog, which actually I wasn't that keen on the chocolate, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't my favourite. But what I like is it also came with some collector's chocolate frog cards. So they're nice. And of course they're all holographic. Yeah, they're just really nicely made. And yeah. Now of course, everything there is overpriced and expensive. But for the most part, I kind of thought like, well, it'd be nice to have souvenirs from that trip. So I didn't mind spending a bit more. However, $30 on that may have been one of the stupidest purchases I did. I didn't even like the chocolate. And I already own one, and arguably the paper one might even be like nicer. So I do slightly regret that purchase. But everything else, everything else, I'm like happy with. So in conclusion, it was an amazing experience. Like I loved the rides, even if I've been harsh on a couple of them. I loved just walking around the shops, buying things. I just felt like a big kid, and I was giddy the entire time. So it was definitely worth going. I would definitely recommend the entire experience for any Hyde Park fans out there. It was just incredible. So thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more to come.